Hello, hello, hello. Kissing up to God. To God be the glory. You see me messing with my camera again. I don't understand why I keep turning it off. But I'm so glad to be with you today. My name is Jennifer Brooks. I am your Southern Belle. I'm so glad to be here, thanking God for another do-over, kissing up to Him, thanking Him for life, health, and strength, thanking Him for everything that He does for me, thanking Him for loving my family, thanking Him for those brand new grace and brand new mercies that He allows every day that we wake up. Thank you, God, for health, for strength, and for family. If I didn't say that already, I'm kind of miscombobulated because I don't know how much I was on before I realized the camera wasn't on. But anyway, I'm so glad that you're here with me today. Thanks for hanging in there. I'm gonna get it right sooner or later. I'm gonna get it right. But I was looking at some strolling today. While I was getting my hair done, I'm strolling, and this guy came on and said the difference between a toxic woman and a healed woman when they leave, or if they don't leave, the difference between them. And it just made me laugh because I remember being very toxic. I remember the being problematic. I remember the negative personality. I remember being like very critical. I remember like the nasty behavior sometimes. I remember being manipulative sometimes. I even remember gaslighting, if you ever think I could do such a thing. Not taking accountability. I've never been like really a jealous type person. I don't feel like you should be, or really a possessive person. And I've never been like really self-centered. But this is how they describe like toxic women. And then if a toxic woman is in a relationship, a lot of times she is miserable, and she is making whomever she's with just as miserable as she is, and it's not a good thing. um I do have to say, and I honestly think that's where like some of the abuse come in at, mental abuse and physical abuse, especially because you just get to the point where you snap, or you're snapping, and whomever you're with just got to probably get to the point where they're sick of it. It may cause a breakup, a divorce. Like it goes into the children, it goes into everything, and everybody just bleeds into your life. And people see you coming, don't want to be bothered. They see you coming and they know that you're toxic, and they know as soon as you open your mouth, it's something stupid coming out, or something negative coming out, something you don't want to hear. So when you think about a toxic person, not just in a relationship, but just toxic altogether, it's not a good place to be in your life or in nobody else's life. And then like the healed woman, see that healed person has taken accountability for their actions. See, I actually had to pinpoint why I was so angry, because being toxic a lot of times because you're angry, or you've been hurt, and you have to pinpoint what it is, like where it started, and what you could do about it to be healed. Because there's no way that you want to live like that, or your life just being miserable. So once you heal, and I think a lot of times when you heal, you overcome adversity. You know how to deal with um the things that you can't control, the things that you can't handle. Instead of lashing out at it, a lot of times it's good to set back and just think about it, ponder it in your heart. And that's what I found myself doing. Instead of going there to arguing or fighting about it, I be still. I'm quiet now. I set back and think about, what just happened. I have to really be able to cope with it, come up with it. And I'm wiser now. As they say, pick your battles. Choose what's important to fight about. Some things are not even worth fighting about. Some things are not even worth hurting each other about. So pick your battles. Just be wise enough to know the difference between something that can be resolved and something that's just out of the question. And set your boundaries. Know what your limits are. If you do know that this is going into something that you don't want to deal with, or something that's going to be hard for you to deal with, or you know step away from it. Don't allow that to draw you into and just suck you and drain you dry of all your energy and drain you dry of who you're trying to be. Drain you dry of that healing you're trying to do. And know your worth, know your value. And I think a lot of times we don't. We're so insecure about who we are. And we know that could stem from childhood. But know your value, know who you are. Because something about you have to attract whoever you're with or something like that. It's not just, it can't be looks all the time. It could be looks that draw you in the beginning, but looks don't hold anybody because those looks can change. The body, if you got an hourglass figure, that joke can change too. And don't I know? So those things that maybe did draw you into it's got to be something else. It got to be something more than that. So know who you are. Know your value. And then once you start knowing some of that stuff, you'll start realizing, wow, it doesn't bother me anymore. Instead of being toxic and holding on to something that's making you not who you are, try to heal from some of that stuff so you can know who you are. So if you don't want to put up with that no more, then you don't. But see, only a healed person will understand that. Once you heal, you know what you want, and you know who you are, and you know what you want to be around, and you know what you're going to deal with. Once you heal, it's going to be more sleeping nights instead of sleepless nights. Up there worrying about stuff and being concerned about things that you're just making worse because of that toxic mindset. And once you realize and start healing that mindset come together, that's a beautiful thing. It ain't nothing like feeling good about yourself and who you are and not dealing with a whole bunch of stuff. Because life is just a whole bunch of stuff anyway. So you're gonna have to know how to deal with certain things that you don't have any authority over that you're gonna have to deal with. But the things that you do, deal with it, but deal with it in a different way. Go ahead and get healed. Get out that toxic mess, that toxic mindset, and understand who you are, understand your value. So, if you think anybody needs to hear this, please share it with them. I appreciate it. I love when you guys share my content. I really appreciate it, and it helps my channel grow. Okay, so let me go ahead on a good, what is it, Saturday? Go ahead on a good Saturday night and do me. Okay, everybody, thank you for joining me. My name is Jennifer Brooks. I am your Southern Belle. And please keep sharing. Please keep coming on. Please keep commenting. I appreciate you all. All right, you guys have a blessed night. Now you hear. God bless. Good night.